Good afternoon, friends. How are we? It is about 3:30 in the afternoon on Friday, May 10th, and Sony is at it yet again. SOE, the publishers of Helldivers 2, ended up coming under a massive amount of scrutiny and backlash from the player base because they ultimately decided that everyone had to have a PlayStation Network account in order to be able to play Helldivers 2 after the 4th of June. Unfortunately, this was going to leave millions of players unable to play the video game because there's about 177 countries unable to make a PlayStation Network account. Even more that couldn't link that account to Steam through PlayStation Network because it wasn't allowed. After an absurd amount of review bombs and refund requests, Sony ultimately decided that the PC version of the game was not going to require a PlayStation Network account after all, and everyone would be able to enjoy Helldivers 2, saying that it didn't understand the player base and they're still trying to figure out this whole PC linking up with PlayStation thing. Okay, fine. However, they haven't changed anything. But it wasn't just that. Sony also ended up making a request to Steam to outlaw 177 countries because these countries couldn't make PlayStation Network accounts. Therefore, since it couldn't be linked on Steam, then why bother having them be able to play the game anyway? But Sony would never do something like that. Let somebody buy a video game and then play it all along to their little heart's content for 3 months, clocking hundreds of hours in some cases, only then to have the rug pulled out from under them because they couldn't do something like make a PlayStation Network account? Right? No, of course they wouldn't do that, and they wouldn't go one step further, and instead of reverting this change that happened almost a week ago, and now them saying that they weren't going to require the PlayStation Network account thing after all, instead of reverting this and going to Valve and saying, hey, why don't you give the 177 countries worth of people, those couple of million accounts, why don't you give them back their ability to play the video game? But instead, what happened was they ended up adding 3 more countries, Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia, to this list, now making it 180 countries that can't play Helldivers 2. Looks a little something like this, except that list isn't for Helldivers 2. That list is for Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, the PC port of Ghost of Tsushima that's supposed to be showing up on Steam in very, very short order. The 16th of May, 6 days from now, Ghost of Tsushima is supposed to be playable through Steam as a Director's Cut, a remaster. In the 180 countries that got outlawed from being able to play Helldivers 2 because they couldn't make a PlayStation Network account are also being outlawed from being able to play Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut because they can't make a PlayStation Network account. And originally, Sony ended up saying that it would be okay and that it would only be the single-player version of the game. You wouldn't be able to have any of the multiplayer features if you weren't able to connect to PSN. Okay, fine. Except they're still outlawed. That list on SteamDB shows that. You can't purchase the game, and people that did purchase it are being given refunds. Now, originally, as of this morning, it was through just Green Man Games, GMG. They were people that were emailing folks saying that they were giving out refunds because they wouldn't be able to play the multiplayer version, and Steam was blocking it, so they were just giving back people refunds if they lived in one of these countries. But it's not just GMG. These are actually outlawed. People that have purchased this on Steam in advance that live in any of these countries will not be able to play Ghost of Tsushima on Steam as of the 16th. Not unless this ends up getting reverted. It should be of no shock then, after all of this scrambling that it seems Sony is doing, that their stock ticker looks like that. To borrow a bit of a riff from Thor, looks like their stock price is taking a little bit of a hell dive. Yeah? So this is 2 firsts for me. The largest, most widespread attempt at the most restrictive thing that I've ever seen a software publisher do in the history of my time on this earth. And Sony also has developed single-handedly the biggest passive promotion for software piracy I have ever seen. Anyway, guys, that's what I have for this one. If you wouldn't mind coming by and checking out a stream sometime, you can see me over at twitch.tv/Onepeg. In the meantime, hey, maybe give a sub to the channel here. Ring the bell if you ended up feeling frisky. I appreciate all of your eyeballs. Thank you so much for lending me them. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.